So the volume itself is another tool in the cluster settings. So if we go to the cluster settings, we go down and we add additional footprint. Let's go to the additional footprint and see what settings we have. Volume comes up as the first one, and we want to be looking at the volume profile. So what do we mean by volume and what do we mean by volume profile? Well, it's very interesting to kind of break this down. The volume is essentially, it's very similar to the delta, but it's essentially the opposite sign. So the volume is the bid plus the ask, right? The volume tells you the total number of transactions hitting the market at that moment. And that's the secret with order flow. You're reading the transactions at that moment in price. And that's what allows you to determine in real time whether the price is going to move up and down. And you're not simply relying on wicks and bodies to determine the story of price, because those alone are never enough. But if we look at the volume over here, right, what we begin to see is very interesting, where if we break down this candle, a regular candle will not give you this information, but when you dive in deeper, you can see that a lot of volume is concentrated in the lower half of this candle, right? The upper half has a lot less volume, and you can see that with the profile, right? So the setting I've used over here in the ATAS platform is the additional footprint, right? So the volume profile essentially gives you the bid plus the ask, right? So if we just break down an example over here, 60 by 0, the delta is 60. The volume in this case is also 60 because it is 0 plus 60, right? A better example will be the one underneath, 134 plus 227, so that's 361.